Greetings to the best family on YouTube. Well, in our opinion at least, our wonderful and fabulous EDC family. I'm your host, Prophet, and with me as always, but actually in studio for the first time, is the Professor. And we thank him and we thank you for joining us for a special EDC video. How's it going, Professor?
Pretty good.
That's fantastic. And you're going to see the Professor's, the one and only Professor's hands shortly in the video here. But we're going to do a quick little special video for 4th of July. What we have here on the table is 13 EDC items. We have mostly knives, but this is going to represent the 13 original colonies. And as you can see, my wonderful mother, who you won't see her video yet, but after this, you'll see it, gave me the special little cross with the American flag on it. I absolutely adore it. And that will be in our video today. So special thanks to Mom. What do you say for that one?
I don't know what to say about that.
Well, you know, she gave us a nice little cross for the table. Pretty nice, right?
Pretty sweet of her.
Pretty sweet of her. All right, folks, enough with the mumbo. As you know, I can kind of just keep going and going. Isn't that right, Professor?
Far too much.
Yeah, far too much. Okay, so today's video, again, we'll be taking a break from our usual carrier bury. So our little casket here is actually filled with our new stickers and not with any knives, and nor is any knife on the table going to go in the casket today. So what we have for you, again, we have 13 knives representing the original 13 colonies. Professor will most likely put them somewhere on the screen. Let's make some room for him to do so, right? Maybe somewhere around here. I don't know how he'll do it, but it's the Professor, right? That's what he does. So we'll kind of move some stuff around a little bit here. Now, so representing the 13 original colonies, we have 13 EDC items. Mostly knives. We have a Leatherman tool. We have a couple pens, but a little bit of special. Do you think these are made in the USA, Professor?
Let's hope so.
For our 4th of July special, Professor and I thought, you know, let's go through some USA made items and let's see if editing videos and hanging out with me for all these years has taught the Professor anything about pricing when it comes to EDC items, quality, and things of that nature. So what do we have today in our short little video? I'll tell you. We've got a Phantom Steelworks dub, and that is a custom-made knife here. It's got the Timascus, beautiful, beautiful knife, and we'll obviously see more of that when Professor gets up to the table. What else do we have? We have the Leatherman Arc. The Leatherman Arc, which is the newer Leatherman option that has the MagnaCut steel. MagnaCut, if you follow us at all, is a steel that has been formulated by Dr. Laren Thomas of KnifeSteelNerds.com. We always love to thank Dr. Laren Thomas on this channel. Why? Because he is the Mad Doc of Steel, the Mad, well, maybe the Mad Professor of Steel.
Let's just call him Doc Steel.
Doc Steel. You heard it from our professor, Dr. Laren Thomas. This channel has coined him Doc Steel. Okay, what else do we have on the table? Well, we've got a couple pens here. This particular guy here is the Urban Survival Gear Tie Scribe Bolt. This is the 3rd version, I believe. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. It's always hard. I have so many things, believe me. This is the, I believe, the 3rd version, and it is titanium, full size. And that is going to be on the table. We have an OG represented here, which is when Professor plays with it, you'll see it. This is a borrowed knife from a friend of mine, and it is a Buck 110. And this particular buck is the BRS version with 420HC steel. It has the beautiful wood, and it normally has polished copper, folks, but we use our knives on this channel. The person who borrowed me this knife uses his knives, and it's probably seen a deer or two. What else do we have on the table? We have a Chris Reeve Sabenza with ebony wood, Madagascar ebony wood, glass bead blasted on the titanium, custom dual thumb studs, a beautiful knife representing Idaho. What else do we have here? Well, we have this fun little guy. It is a Spyderco PM2, and this is representing Golden, Colorado today. And it is a Tonto All right. We also have a Paragon knife here on the channel today. I know that you may have seen this every once in a while when we were doing maybe, I don't know, some of our knife comparisons. This is the Warlock X with the red accents. What else? Well, if you watch our channel, you know that we recently talked about this company. This is Three Rivers Manufacturing. This is their Atom. We also have a Microtech knife, an automatic knife, and as you may have watched our May the 4th Be With You Star Wars video, it is a Boba Fett themed Microtech. It is an Ultratech full size, and you'll get to see more of that here later. We also have a wonderful little guy here, also dressed with Magna Cut, and this wonderful little guy is a Hogue knife, or Hogue Knives, forgive me. This little guy is a Hogue Knives Deca. All right, you're going to get to see that guy. We have a little Malibu from ProTech over there representing California. And you can't talk USA made without having a Benchmade. I decided to give Professor a freshly sharpened Benchmade 51.
Oh, great.
You know me, I
Where's
can't
the
help it.
Band-Aids?
Yeah, great question. We're going to get to those a little bit later. We should get some Carry or Bury Band-Aids. I'm telling you, that would be pretty cool. We have a Morpho 51 by Benchmade, and we have another pen because I didn't want to just do one USA pen on the table. We have this beautiful tactile turn dressed in copper. It does.
Did you say turd?
I did I really? Oh goodness, I might have. Tactile turn copper bolt action pen. It does have the Timascus bolt on this little guy. We'll get her nice and close for you folks. Look at that. And it has a subscription. Please feel free to like and subscribe with my fantastic English. It has an engraving on the clip, and it says profit with my lucky number. Pretty neat there. So we've got a couple pens. Again, 13 knives. I just thrown them in an order. We're going to see how Professor can figure out how this is going to go. So remember, there's a lot of things when we're talking about knives and pricing. There's a lot of things that go into it, folks. What type of way were they put together? Were CNC machines used? Was there an EDM wire machine used? Are there any hand forging, cryo heat treatments, grinding, sanding, polishing? We could go on and on. Remember, time is money when you're making knives, especially in the USA. You have OSHA. You have all kinds of other things that you have to look forward to, right? You got to pay your employees a fair and decent wage because we are the USA, right? We vote for our home team, like Nick Shabazz says. You also have to think about blade treatments. You can kind of see a unique blade treatment right here in a way, right? Is it hand rubbed satin? Does it have a mirror polish? Does it have PVD? Has it been glass bead blasted? Got it right that time, Professor. Has it had Cerakote coating? Has it been stonewashed? What does it have? And remember, you also have the really unique handle treatments, inlays, such as the ebony Madagascar wood here on the Chris Reeves knife. You also have Timascus. You have aluminum. You have titanium. You have very, very neat, very lightweight composite materials. You have all kinds of wonderful little things when you're talking about it. So, without further ado, I think we all kind of know that we've got some different knives here. I'm going to give you Professor's Portal. Or wait, I don't have to. He's right here. I'm going to let the professor come on in, and he is going to go over these knives, feel them, pick them up, and put them in an order to where he thinks they're going to be priced. On the far side here will be the less expensive. The most expensive can probably go up here. As you can see, we're limited on space with these 13 EDC items. Let's get to it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my wonderful, wonderful pleasure and honor to introduce to you the star of Carrier Bury, the real star.
I doubt I'm the real star.
The Professor! Now this is where I do a magic trick and he just appears, right? So let's go. The Professor!
Oh, I did it. Wow. All right. All right. What do you want me to do here?
Well, Professor, start on your left, start on your right, but what you're going to do is ask any questions about the particular item, and I will tell you. And then what you're going to do is, after you've had a feel for everything, you're going to put everything in order from left to right of what you think is the most expensive.
Well, this thing is a meaty beast.
That is a meaty beast. What you're holding right there, my friend, is the Phantom Steelworks custom-made dub. Has a very, very wonderful, huge Timascus slab on one side, a very large Timascus clip, and it is very custom. The guy you just picked up there, Mr. Professor, do you know what you're holding or what that was?
That's a Leatherman Arc. I remember editing that one.
We have a follow-up to do on that one, a carryorbury follow-up. That, my friend, is a buck 110.
There's no way to flip it, though.
Well, it's an old school knife, bud. Make sure when you're opening them in camera. There you go.
There's no way to flip it.
Okay, yeah. Well, they don't flip. You know, they open. That's kind of the knives that our grandparents used to use, and
Maybe my dad.
You know, the gentleman that we have it on loan from right now, I'm going to be sharpening it for him. The gentleman that we have it on loan is, you know, he's a little bit older.
Oh, this is cool.
That is cool.
All right, that's nice. So there's a matching one over here.
It's not matching, completely different company, different everything, actually.
Yeah, this one feels way different than that one does.
Does it feel better or worse?
Well, it's heavier.
Well, it's copper opposed to titanium.
I mean, it depends on what you wanted. If you wanted something lighter weight, I think this
well, it looks
one is
like
better.
your thing's sticking to the, yeah, so give it a little pat down. No, like, there you go. There you go.
Ah.
It's got to stick to it.
Do you put oil on these?
No, but I do need a new spring because I dropped it.
Oh, fair enough. All right. This thing looks dangerous.
So now, no, hold on. Now, you take it in your hands and squeeze it. And that's what pops the bottom out.
Oh,
it's
boy.
spring loaded. As most of our. Be very careful. I did just sharpen that.
Yeah, sharpened it.
That's not.
Yep, feels sharp.
Yeah, I'll cut
Look
all
at that.
You could shave with that puppy.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
That's a Benchmade knife. This is a ProTech knife from California.
That's nice.
It is. Malibu.
What's the button? Oh, okay. Interesting.
That there is a Hogue Deca with
Lightweight.
Magna Cut. Very lightweight.
Yep, this would be nice in your pocket every day.
Yeah,
If you don't want to put it on a belt clip, this would be a nice pocket.
I actually took the pocket clip off of it because I put it in a slip when I used it.
This is one of my favorites, and I've played with this one before.
That, my friend, is a beautiful little
This is
microtech.
cool. This is one of my favorite knives of yours.
Thank you.
Whoops, I'm not very good at knives.
You know, there's multiple microtechs, so is the color your favorite?
No, I just like that it's a Boba Fett.
Ah,
Be a Star Wars nerd, you know.
I do. We should break out our gold Star Wars fountain pens at some point on the channel. Folks, I'm sure would like it. Now, that's one of those knives, if you haven't opened it, you don't hand to a non-knife person. If you'd like, I can come into the camera and open it for you.
Let me try.
All right. Well, okay, hold on. Now, you see the big red button?
Yeah.
And there's one on each side? So you're going to push them both together.
Oh. Ooh,
And
interesting.
then the blade will fall out, and it's double-sided, so be very careful. Well, you got to keep the buttons.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
watch your fingers. That's also very sharp.
So what's the idea here?
Well, it's kind of a type of gravity opening knife.
Can you flip it?
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, there's an art to this thing.
Yeah, you know, in fact,
kinda
what I
cool,
can do
but-
is I'll come on camera and show you real quick.
All right.
All right, let's just kind of,
Oh, you make it look easy.
you know, I've owned it for a bit, carried it quite a bit.
Profit makes this all look easy.
We have a Spyderco, keep it in the frame, Spyderco.
I'm looking at the knife. I'm not looking at where it's at the camera.
It's not as easy as it looks, is it?
No, it's horrible. Gives me a new respect for what you do.
I appreciate that. I couldn't do what you do, so I have a lot of
I
respect
like
for
this
it.
knife. I just like Spydercos. They just are cool. Ooh, this looks
That
nice.
one has that Spyderco does have a Lynch Northwest custom titanium clip on it as well.
Wow, this one feels nice.
I did just sharpen that one as well, so, and I
It
put
just
it,
feels nice. It's not heavy. It looks like it would be heavy.
Mhm.
It's not heavy.
You got to remember, it comes from one of the master knife makers of our generation and any generation.
It
to be
flips
honest.
open like a dream.
And
Even
it-
for a non-flip guy.
Do you want to know what's interesting about that as well?
What's that?
Is it actually isn't run on bearings. It's run on washers, phosphorus bronze washers. So Chris Reeves has figured his geometry out so perfectly, and it has such a nice hydraulic opening, a nice hydraulic. I mean, it's not going to fall
There's no
short.
bearing in here?
No bearings. They run on what's called phosphorus bronze washers.
Wow.
They're
That's
different
cool.
size washers. Chris Reeves does a fantastic job.
So I've looked at them all. What
Yeah.
am I supposed to do?
Well, what I'd like you to do is put them in order from left to right, what you think is the cheapest and the
Okay.
most expensive item.
Sorry, Mom, but this is
Nope,
the
nope, that,
cheapest.
that does not go on there, and that's priceless.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay. All right. Well, this thing looks fancy. I'm going to put that one as the most expensive.
Okay, so we'll
So,
leave that there then. That's
leave it
fine.
there?
Yeah.
And
We're going to
then
go cheapest left to right, and then up top is the most
I have
expensive.
no idea what pens are worth.
Sure. I
If
understand.
it's all copper, it's probably worth a lot.
Well, who knows?
So it's probably worth more than that buck. Sorry, buck. But that is trusty knife.
All
And
right.
then I'm going to put this one here, maybe right next. You know what? I'm going to put that next. I think the buck is worth more than that
Okay,
pen.
interesting.
This one here, this seemed really nice.
All right.
I'll put that a little higher. I know where Spydercos go. They go about in the middle.
Well, I kind of didn't do you a lot of justice because a lot of them are right in the middle.
Yeah, you're kind of messing with me.
I thought this would be funny.
Oh, this thing, I don't know. This thing can't be that much. Let's see, this one's probably less than this one. Then this one. Then this one. And this one. Well, I'm going to go this one, this one, this one. I don't know where the hell this thing goes. It is like aluminum or something. What's it made out of?
Aluminum.
It is crazy. So crazy.
Careful. Yeah,
Crazy usually means either expensive or cheap. It don't look cheap. So I'm going to put it in the middle. I'm just going to put it right here. And I'm going to put this one here. So I'm going to move these over here, 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 here. This one feels nice.
Okay.
I'm going to say this one's right under this one. Maybe that looks expensive as hell. But this is got to be pretty expensive.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that goes there.
Let's take a quick peek here. Get that guy there, and then I'll be.
All right, I'm saying that's the order.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our EDC, what do we call them?
Our family.
Our family. As you can see, professors put these in order. So stay tuned next week. And I'm just kidding, folks. In a few minutes, I'm going to actually do this. But I thought it would be really cool for you to hear the professor do our outro today.
This video was not sponsored by anyone, and we paid for all the items you see. Thank you for your continued support. With that being said, be sure to check us out on all social media. Just search for @carryorbury and look for our logo. Until next time, EDC family, keep those blades sharp, keep your flashlights charged, and keep your band-aids close. Remember, you are the best tool in your daily EDC loadout. God bless, and see you next time.
All right. EDC family, professor has made his list here. Let's take a peek and let's go from back to front to see how close he would have been. So the most budget-friendly, the most affordable EDC piece is actually not the Urban Survival Gear tie scribe bolt. What is it? Well, it is the copper tactile bolt action, even though this does have the custom engraving, and it also has the Timascus bolt, right? This little guy, with all of that lovely custom stuff, was $130 USD. So that's going to go at the very back. But I kind of was mean to you, bud, because you were very close. The Urban Survival Gear tie scribe bolt version 3 in titanium, these used to be about $109. They've gone up in price. They're about $140 nowadays. So it beat the little guy by about 10 bucks. But technically speaking, when it was purchased, this would have been over here. So you were pretty darn close.
So I was right.
You were very close. We'll give it to you, right? Hey, inflation, baby. We also have a buck that you have here, and guess what? That's where it goes. Buck 110 is about I'm sorry, forgive me. The Buck 110 actually goes back here. I apologize, folks. You were very close with the Buck 110. That goes back here as $110, $130, $140. So what's next? What's going to be the next one? Oh, goodness. You've been doing this how long? Oh man, we're going to have to move the Hogue all the way down. Whoa, Professor. For somebody that has seen literally hundreds of knives here at the compound, I'm a little disappointed in you here, even though it's a beautiful knife. So I know how I can absolutely see how you weren't sure on that. Especially,
I literally would carry that in my pocket.
It's a beautiful knife, and it actually does a very good job. You have the compound. Honestly, if you really think about it, you have the compound type sheep's foot modified blade, and it is a USA-made Magna Cut blade, and you know that Hogue does a good job at heat treating, so you're going to be at that 63, 64 HRC.
Do you think the handle's going to hold up?
I'm not a big fan of this lightweight style handle. As you know, we also have a Spyderco PM3 here on the compound that also has this FRN lightweight handle. It's supposed to be very sturdy. I'm just not a fan of it personally, but it is super light, is it not?
Oh, it's super light. It would be like almost nothing in your pocket.
All right, let's see if we're going to have some fireworks for the rest of this because, you know, it is 4th of July special. Let's take a peek at what would be next. So you have the Leatherman. Well, you know, it's not the Leatherman, bud. It is, Professor, the Spyderco PM2. They're going to retail the Spyderco. Forgive me, folks. The Hogue Deca and the Magna Cut, you can get those for about $165. $165 for this guy. The Spyderco with the G10 non-contoured scales, with the Tonto blade, right? With the CPM S35 VN for the blade stock, you're going to be at about $225 on this guy. So, okay, Professor, you've been doing this a while now, so you've got to be right on the Leatherman, right?
Pretty soon.
What? That doesn't even make sense. You mean yes? Do you think the Leatherman is next for real?
Yes.
Of course you do. That's where you put it, right? I hate to say this to you, bud. I do. I hate to say this to you, but it is actually the fine, wonderful folks out east there at TRM with their Atom. You can even get one of the new Atoms with Magna Cut, although this is the 20CV model, for starting at about $235. So we're going to go from the $225 to $235, and we finally hit your
Oh my goodness, it took forever.
Yeah, they're about $245-ish. You can probably get them a little bit less expensive nowadays, but that's about where they were when we bought this one. So what's next? Well, I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. It is definitely, as much as you said that this Benchmade didn't feel like it was expensive, it's not next. It's actually going to be this little guy, the ProTech Malibu from California. These wonderful little button lock that revolutionized the way that knives were done with button locks, made by ProTech here, is a beautiful little knife, and they're about, give or take, about $290. And this is going to have the CPM 20CV as well. They're about 3.3 inches. Great, amazing little flipper. Can't go wrong. But the Benchmade is next, bud. So with the ProTech Malibu being $290, where do you think the Benchmade's going to be price-wise?
Well, I bet it's $301.
Well, you're wrong. They're $350, my friend. So as you can see, with these wonderful, beautiful guys. Oops.
Oh my goodness, don't do that. I gotta go get the Band-Aids.
Now, I just sharpened it, and I am not gonna do much, except, am I? Oh, goodness. We'll get that off there. Oh, I should not have done that. Look like I've been hanging out at bad places. Okay, so about $350, okay, is what you're gonna get a Morpho for. That's just the way it is, you know. Honestly, it's a flipper, it's a Benchmade, it's a beautiful little knife. But you've got to be pretty close to this last few ones, right, Professor? I mean, well, we've got 4 left.
Odds are I'm getting better.
The odds are you're right. So, in fact, you're so right that the Warlock is next. So the Paragon Warlock X folding knife, which I should have never let you handle without really knowing these. And folks at home, what you do when you push these buttons, it gives you a very small opening, and they're machined so well. And obviously there's a couple set screws where you can, you know, really kind of tune it if you need to. But it is a dual edge dagger style knife. And I tell you what, it is very sharp. Okay.
You might need a license for that one.
Well, I tell you what, the folks at Paragon sure know how to make a knife, right? Or Paragon, forgive me. Oh my goodness, sorry Paragon. And now, what do you think these go for? Now remember, if this was $350, where do you think this guy is?
$351.
$375. I would love to go after you playing Price is Right, because I would win every time. Up next is the Microtech 10BH Boba Fett Special Bounty Ultra Tech out the front. Beautiful little Tonto.
No idea what it cost, but it was one of my favorite knives.
Well, I mean, we should have an idea. If the Paragon was $375,
I suppose $400.
You nailed it. Look at you, Professor. The fireworks are going off. I tell you, folks, he did it. We're great. So these are all pretty much, I believe, we're from the 130. I'm sorry, 110, the buck 110 was 110. 110, 130, 140, 165, 225, 235, 245, 290. We had a little jump there. Even bigger jump with the Benchmade at 350. Paragon 375. The Microtech Bounty Hunter Special Edition Ultratech 400. So where would you think the Sebenza 31 is going to go? That you said feels so nice.
I don't know. It looks nice.
It does. It looks very nice. If you had to guess where the price would be with
well,
this,
it's more than $500.
I'll tell you, that's very true.
So knowing you, it's probably more than $1,000.
Well, it's not, thank God. No, this is about an $800 knife.
Okay.
Actually, I think the retail on it's exactly $800. Maybe a little bit, maybe $850.
It's a nice knife.
It's a beautiful
I wouldn't
knife.
use it my daily, but it's a nice knife to collect.
Well, I tell you what, these knives are perfect for daily use. When Chris Reeves makes something, there's a reason why so many people in the world, the only knife they'll buy is a Sebenza or another one of his knives, right? And they will get literally transferred from father to son, from father to son. So if Chris Reeves was alive back in 1776 and making knives, I would bet we would still see them today, right? Because that's kind of what he is. Right?
But they didn't have MagnaCut steel back then.
Well, they didn't have Dr. Laren Thomas. They didn't have MagnaCut. They didn't have all these wonderful people that have paved the way for us to do this stuff. You know, they didn't, but
they had blacksmiths.
They did have blacksmiths. And I don't know if the blacksmiths would have been able to custom hand make one of these bad boys.
That thing looks crazy.
You know, I'll tell you, folks, let's see if we can get the... If I hit it with the Windex, it really does shine it up. Unfortunately, I don't have any near me.
Is it made of glass?
It is not, but Timascus shines up very well with Windex, believe it or not. And then if you look at the back of this bad boy, so really interesting is the thickness of the titanium on the reverse side of the knife, and on the show side, a lot thinner stock of the Timascus, because back when this knife was made, you really couldn't get Timascus in a thicker billet. And
well,
then,
not only that, but isn't the spring lock on the other piece? I don't know if
it's on the titanium side.
Yeah, it wouldn't work as well on that.
Well, it's still a very thick piece to do a spring lock on.
Oh, I get it, but I'm saying I don't know if that other forged metal would work as a spring as well.
You know, here's an interesting tidbit for you. Do you know who invented this type of frame lock?
Well, it wasn't Laren Thomas. He did steel.
Well, he does steel. He is a doc. He is, what do we call him there? Doc Steel? Steel Doc?
Doc Steel.
Doc Steel. This wonderful little opening mechanism, which, oh goodness, I cannot believe I don't have another one on the table. That is crazy. It's one of the most common modern knife locking mechanisms. The little guy here, how this knife opens up and locks. And Professor, it was actually invented by Chris Reeves. Oh. You can see the frame lock here. Chris Reeve invented the frame lock, okay? And instead of licensing it and making tons of money on it, he gave it to the knife world. And he said, you know what? I think that it's a wonderful safety feature. It'll open up a whole new world of wonderful things. And I don't know the full story, but I do know that he did not patent it, and he let everyone have it.
So he's been making knives for quite a while.
He is a South African born knife maker, and he came here to the U.S., and he obviously is in Idaho, right? Idaho made, which you can see proudly on all of his knives right there. And Mr. Chris Reeve, South African born, became a U.S. citizen, helped not just pioneer, but really has done so much for the knife community and knife makers, and his products are wonderful. They're very fairly priced. You can get a Sebenza without all the lovely extras. For, I think the modern Sebenzas with MagnaCut, they start for the large at least around $600, maybe $550 even if you got a good deal on it. But this is the 31, which we're going to have a video very soon on the 31, Professor, and you'll get to learn a lot more.
All right.
All right, folks. With that being said, this was the most expensive one because it was custom, because when this knife was built, and the reason why it's gone up in price is the gentleman and the company that made this is no longer in business. We hope he comes back one day, but he's not there right now. So what do you think this little guy is worth?
$1,000.
Well, we're going to go north of that big guy.
$2,000.
Just below. We're gonna ping it at about $1,750.
Wow.
Maybe $1,850. It's very tough. You'd have
and
to kind of
beastly.
I have big hands, folks, and it is a very big knife. A lot of you know the size of the Spyderco PM2, and that's not a small knife as well. And as you can see,
but it's thick, and it's like holding a baseball bat.
It is not a small knife. There it is. Beautiful knife. I mean, very, very cool. Very robust. Very beautiful. Oh, we got that. Oh, it's Spyderco. It's on the magnet. All right, folks. Happy 4th of July. We will actually, I believe your next video is going to be a video where we're going to do this with my mom. A little special video we were going to put out for Mother's Day. I was unable to see her on Mother's Day. So it's going to be a late Mother's Day video to see what a mom thinks of pricing, right? Now, you'll get that video next because of how we film. But I will tell you, folks, that the one after that will be the Sebenza 31. One of our amazing and wonderful subscribers, Dane, had asked for it, and we're going to give it to you. I know it's not the Sebenza small, bud, forgive me, but we can still do it. We'll still talk about the 31. We'll show you pictures of the small, right? And we'll kind of go from there. Folks, Professor, I think he has something to say to you. Happy 4th of July.
Yeah. Happy 4th of July, everyone.
All right.